So earlier this week, I found myself in the Chuck E. Cheese for adults who wanted to get liquored up. That's right, it's Dave & Buster's, where you pay $20 for 3 rounds of skee ball. But I wasn't there for libations. I was on the lookout for something greater, something quite monstrous. If you haven't heard about this, let me get you up to speed real quick. Made by the good folks at Raw Thrills, this is an immersive VR rail shooter. Basically, you sit in a chair, you put on a pair of Oculus-style goggles, and you pay about $4 to start shooting monsters randomly. It is basically a high-grade spiritual sequel to that awesome Jurassic Park arcade shooter that was in every Chuck E. Cheese we had back in the 90s. You know, the one where you sat in the booth and pretty much pumped away $24 so you can make it through level 2, but you didn't care because the seat moved and you were randomly blasting velociraptors and T-Rexes to your heart's content. Amazing. But I digress. While waiting for the game, because, well, it was pretty popular even on a dead night, I had to go kill some time. So I found myself playing Rampage. Not just any Rampage. This is the Rampage game based off the 2018 movie with the more realistic monsters. Popped a couple bucks in that thing. It's pretty fun. If you've never played it, it's essentially just Rampage, but you move through the levels a little bit differently than you did on the other ones. You're still destroying things, still eating people. It's Rampage. It's classic. You can't go wrong with it. The game opened up and I got to give it a go, and let me tell you, this thing is awesome. Play it, you basically hop in the seat, take your game card, pop in 7 credits, and pop on the VR goggles. Once the VR goggles are on, you let them adjust. That tells the game that there's someone sitting there ready to go, and you are off running. So you get a choice of 2 levels. You can either play Manda or Megaguirus. The choice of monsters is interesting to say the least, considering that these are kind of deep cuts in the basic, mythology of Godzilla characters. I also found it a little weird that the developers decided to go with an M theme on the monsters as well, but that's neither here nor there. Once you choose your level, the game starts, the seats start moving, and you are fully immersed in a world of pretty much shooting kaijus out of the air and ground. And with the VR headset, man, this thing is wildly immersive. Gives you a full 360 view. Well, as 360 as you can get. I doubt anybody's really turning their head around on this thing. But you can pretty much look up, down, left, right, and you feel like you're in the world. And with the seat moving and the gun's haptic response, it feels like you're in a gunship shooting down monsters. I mean, what more do you want in life? So the level I decided to start with was Manda. Basically, you fly a gunship through a major city as various swarms of Megaguilla fly around causing chaos. You move through the city uncontrollably. It's pretty much, like I said, a rail game. And pretty much shoot swarms of these things out of the air, racking up points. There are little side pieces of trophies to get and upgrades to your gun. At one point you get a shotgun, and then there's like a complete full auto, almost laserish gun. I don't know what to call it. I kept missing it because there's just so much being bombarded with you on the screen at one time. The game is pure chaos, but in the best way that I could describe. Now, a few things I did notice as you're going through. Like I said, you are shooting out the aforementioned Megaguillon, which are the little dragonfly versions of the Megaguiron, which is this earlier version of Megaguirus, if you know your Godzilla lore. But there are also a couple of other villains that you have to blast out of the sky. Since this is the Manda stage, there are these kind of snake-looking monsters that look like mini Mandas, but they actually bear more of a resemblance to Vertigo from Primal Rage. I wonder if, there's a little bit of copyright infringement going on here. Just take a look. It looks a little suspect to me. And as you get deeper into the level, there's also these mechs that show up. At first, I thought they were like little Mecha Godzillas, but upon closer inspection, they actually looked a lot closer to the Wild Machine G from that Godzilla King of the Monsters manga from the early 90s. I don't know, you tell me. I might be nuts, but it does feel like that there's some Easter eggs hidden in this game that if you're a hardcore Godzilla fan, you're going to be the only one that picks up on it. Anyway, you move through the level, you end up fighting Manda at about 2 points in the game, which considers itself part of the boss fights. Now, when Manda pops up, his mouth opens up and the game slows down, and it gives you 5 to 6 targets to shoot within a set time limit. And it's about 5 seconds per target, so you got to move quick. Basically, you blast these things out of his mouth, and if you manage to get them all, you completely clear the boss with no damage, and you get like a bonus. Now for a Godzilla game, you might be wondering, well, when does Godzilla show up? Oh, he does. He shows up in grand fashion in this level. Basically appears out of a river, destroying a bunch of ships, and towers over your gunship. Once you start fighting him, it's exactly the same as fighting Manda. He has several targets that pop up that you need to eliminate within a select time period. If you don't, you take damage, but if you do, you get extra points for clearing. So you either shoot him in the mouth, or he takes swipes at you with his hand, and pretty much each time you got to blast away those targets. Now there is a third part of fighting him, which he starts unleashing his atomic breath, and you just blast away at his mouth until a energy ring goes down to 0. You manage to do this without getting hit, you gain more points. And here's the thing with this game, points don't really matter. I mean, it is an arcade game, so you want to get that high score, but you're just in this for blasting away at kaiju. It's kind of like playing Time Crisis. If you love that game, you don't care about the points, you care about the experience. And isn't that what life is all about? So you fight Godzilla one last time. Once you defeat him, you move forward a few more seconds to the level, and then Manda blasts out of the water with the screen cutting to this weird JoJo like to be continued style credit sequence. And that's about it. So each level lasts about 3 to 4 minutes, and pretty much you're paying about $4 to play this game, so you get about a minute of gameplay per dollar. That said, it's fun as hell. I loved it. I had a blast. I ended up playing this thing about 6-7 times, and I'm going to be honest, I actually preferred the Mega Gearus level a lot more. I don't know why, it's hard to tell, but I think there's just a lot more interaction in that level than anything else. It plays pretty much the same way. There's no new bosses or anything like that other than Mega Gearus, but you go through a lot more things. The flying aspect is heavier in that level. Overall, this game is amazing. I loved it. I paid roughly $20 to play this several times, like I said. But man, is it so worth it. So if you find yourself at Dave & Buster's, give this thing a go. It's awesome. In terms of Godzilla arcades, this is top notch. I cannot believe this thing exists. And it's not the Monsterverse style one, it's classic Godzilla. So for you old school fans, this is even better. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out our other videos on this page. And of course, the obvious, give us a follow there and there. We're on the social medias. You know what to do. And I'm going to leave you with a little bit of video of my sexy self playing this badass game. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching.